Have you ever noticed people who control a room without saying a word? They walk in, sit down, stay quiet, and all the energy in the space flows toward them. Not magic. Biology. A few years ago, I worked with a consultant named Daniel. 27 years old, junior position on a team of 8. In meetings, people ignored him. When he spoke, colleagues exchanged glances, checked their phones, cut him off mid-sentence. Classic invisibility story. Then, something shifted. 4 months later, that same Daniel walked into the conference room, and a senior partner instinctively paused mid-sentence, waited for Daniel to sit down. Daniel didn't say anything new. He didn't get louder, didn't get aggressive, didn't start dominating with his voice. He changed 5 micro-patterns of nonverbal behavior, and the entire social architecture of the office restructured around him. Today, we're breaking down these 5 patterns, from the least significant to the absolute weapon. And here's what's important to understand before we begin. Respect in human groups isn't a reward for achievements. It's an automatic response from ancient brain structures to specific signals. You emit these signals, your counterpart's limbic system recognizes them before they can think. And social hierarchy builds itself. Most people don't know this coordinate system exists. They try to earn respect with words, results, titles, and they lose to those who understand the nonverbal code. Daniel spent 3 months consciously reprogramming these 5 elements. Result: 22% salary increase, invitation to a closed project, status change in the team without a single conflict. Let's break down exactly what he did. Pattern 1. Spatial expansion. Look at a typical meeting. 9 out of 10 people sit with compressed shoulders, arms pressed to their body, legs crossed. They physically shrink trying to take up less space. Evolutionary signal of submission. Research by MIT neuroscientists showed that people with expansive posture are perceived as higher status, even if observers see them for just 3 seconds in a photograph. Your body speaks first. Daniel started simple. When he sat at the negotiating table, he placed his elbows on the armrests, not pressed against his ribs, not theatrically, not demonstratively, just allowed his body to occupy exactly as much space as an adult man who's 5'10" needs. The difference in perception is massive. Compressed body reads as fear. Expanded body reads as confidence. Try it right now. Lean back in your chair. Let your shoulders drop down and back. Don't tense up. Just occupy the space that belongs to you by right. Feel the shift? That's the first brick in the foundation. Pattern 2. Temporal control. Low-status people always rush. They talk fast, move abruptly, grab every pause in conversation to insert their comment. Subconscious message: my time has no value. I need to speak while people are listening. Daniel noticed that senior consultants in his company moved like gravity worked differently for them. They didn't rush to the elevator, didn't grab the first available seat in the conference room, didn't start speaking 1 second after being asked a question. They lived in a different tempo. He started an experiment. When someone asked him a question, he waited 2 full breaths before answering. When a meeting ended, he didn't jump up first but stayed seated another 15 seconds, gathering paper slowly, without hurry. The effect was unexpected. People started perceiving him as busier. Paradox. The slower he moved, the more valuable his time seemed. Because in primate social logic, speed correlates with subordination. The alpha never rushes. He has no reason to. Start calibrating your tempo. Walk 20% slower. Speak with pauses between sentences. Don't fill silence with nervous laughter or filler words. Control of time is control of status. Pattern 3. Visual fixation. Most people avoid direct eye contact. When someone speaks, they look at the table, out the window, at their laptop screen. When they speak themselves, their gaze darts across listeners' faces, checking reactions. seeking approval. Daniel realized his eyes were constantly asking permission to exist. He changed the protocol. Now, when someone addressed him, he looked directly into the speaker's eyes, not aggressively, not confrontationally, calmly, like he was studying a painting in a museum. 3 seconds of direct contact, brief look away, return, natural rhythm, but intentional. Psychologists from Frontiers in Psychology found that people who maintain stable eye contact are automatically perceived as more dominant and trustworthy. This works because direct gaze is a signal of fearlessness. Low-status animals avoid eye contact to not provoke aggression. When you look calmly and steadily, you broadcast a message. I'm here as an equal. Try it tomorrow. When a colleague talks to you, hold your gaze on their face. Don't drill with your eyes. Just don't hide. In a week, you'll notice people start taking your words more seriously. Pattern 4. Receptive silence. Here's the trap 90% of people fall into. They think to gain respect, they need to talk more, demonstrate expertise, voice opinions, occupy airtime. Daniel did the opposite. He learned to listen in a way that made people feel heard. Not nodding mechanically, not waiting for his turn to insert a comment, but actually processing information. When someone spoke, he turned his entire body toward that person. Put away his phone, paused 2 seconds after the person finished, then responded. Sometimes asked a clarifying question instead of making a judgment. Why does this create respect? Because attention is the scarcest resource in modern social environments. When you give someone your full, undivided attention, you make that person important, and people subconsciously start considering you important in return. This isn't symmetrical exchange. It's alchemy. You give attention, you receive status. Learn to listen, not to respond, but to understand. Pause before answering. Question instead of statement. People will walk away from conversations with you thinking you're the smartest person in the room, even though you said the least. Pattern 5. Strategic silence. This is the most powerful weapon of all 5. Daniel discovered it by accident. At one meeting, a conflict erupted between 2 senior managers. Loud voices, interruptions, the whole room divided into camps, everyone trying to speak. Daniel sat quietly, not because he was scared, just observing. After 7 minutes of chaos, one of the partners turned to him and asked, "What do you think?" The room went silent. Daniel said, "One sentence. Are we solving the problem or winning an argument?" Silence. Everyone looked at each other. The conflict dissolved in 2 minutes. From that day, Daniel understood the principle. In noise, all voices devalue. The one who stays quiet accumulates weight. When he finally speaks, his words drop into silence and have mass. Research from MIT Sloan School of Management showed that using pauses in negotiations increases deal value for both sides. Silence interrupts automatic reactive thinking and activates reflective mode. People start thinking strategically, not emotionally. Start applying this in conflicts and discussions. When everyone's talking, go quiet, not from fear, from strategy. Let others burn out, let the noise dissipate. Then say something short, precise, calm. Your words will carry 10 times more weight than if you were shouting along with everyone else. But here's what Daniel understood after 6 months of applying these patterns. The techniques work, but they're not the essence. The real transformation didn't happen in how others perceived him. It happened in how he perceived himself. When you consciously control your posture, you respect your body. When you slow down, you respect your time. When you look people in the eye, you respect your worth. When you listen, you respect others. When you stay silent, you respect your words. External respect is impossible without internal respect. The techniques aren't a mask. They're a practice of self-respect that becomes visible to others. People don't read your thoughts, they read your body. And if your body says, I deserve to occupy this space, they believe it. Let's pull it all together. First, expansive posture. Occupy the physical space that matches your size. Don't compress yourself. Second, slow tempo. Move and speak like you don't need to rush anywhere. Your time is valuable. Third, steady eye contact. Look people in the eyes 3 seconds at a time. Show you're not afraid to be seen. Fourth, active listening. Listen to understand, not to respond. Give people the scarce resource of full attention. Fifth, strategic silence. In chaos, stay quiet. When everyone burns out, speak. Your words will have gravity. These 5 patterns changed Daniel's career. He got promoted 8 months later. He was invited to lead negotiations with a key client. People started asking his opinion without waiting for him to speak first. And most importantly, he stopped feeling invisible. Not because the world changed, because he changed the language he uses to speak with the world. Try one pattern. Just one. Pick the one that seems least scary. Maybe it's tempo. Maybe it's posture. Doesn't matter. Apply it consciously for 5 days. Watch how people's reactions change. Then, add the second one. In a month, you won't recognize the person looking at you from the mirror, not because you'll become someone else, because you'll become yourself for the first time, but visible. Respect isn't earned through achievements, it's radiated through presence. Start today.